Hello, inflation fighters. Thank you for joining me, the Penny Nanny, today, where we watch every cent. Meal Plan Friday. It's here. Unfortunately, this week, my husband is sick. Right now, it just kind of developed during the week, and he's on call. So, it's going to be a little back and forth. I'm going to be doing most of the cooking this weekend, more than likely. So anyway, let's get to it as far as what the meal plan is. For those of you who are new to the channel, or you're just beginning to use pantries, a simple way to pull meals together is to categorize things. So you have a protein in one category, a vegetable or fruit in another, a carb of some kind, or starch, bread, flat roll, pasta, something of that nature. And then you can pull out sauces or things like that. And then of course you have your dairy. So there's cheese, eggs, milk, sour cream, cottage cheese. It's endless what it could be. So any rate, that's kind of one method to use in terms of pulling together a meal and making a meal plan. This way you're keeping an eye on what you have, and you're able to use things on there. I also recommend, if you're gonna freeze things like cream cheese, butter, things like that, you write down on the packaging the day that you froze it, because this will help you find out, because most of the time some of the things in the freezer are going to be, expired or close to expiration. So knowing when you put it in the freezer will make a difference. You can kind of do that in order then. So okay, so for tonight we're gonna have a Little Caesars pizza. It's something you'll see in a pantry haul coming up next week. It was a 3-meat pizza, sausage, pepperoni, and ham. So that was a full-size pizza. It's sealed, so it wasn't just people putting their leftovers all in a box to give to you. So we're just gonna have that. That's easy enough to throw together. Tomorrow I'm gonna make hamburgers with probably pasta salad, tuna pasta salad, the traditional one that the recipe is on here for. And we're gonna have some kind of extra special buns, which we also got from a pantry, that have onions on the top, so those will be delicious. And then Sunday we're making the gumbo. Now my husband asked me if I wanted to film him doing this. This was earlier, before he was sick. So if we do end up making this, I might do it. It's a long process. It takes a lot. You have to have all your ingredients together, I think, for doing a recipe thing. But every meat except for shrimp and andouille sausage we don't have, but every other meat is in it. Now the gumbo is a creation of my parents. They marketed it. It was called Grandpa's Gumbo, and we used to sell it. They sold it in grocery stores, and then we would help them at fairs and events like that, festivals, giving out samples and selling it. And it was a big hit. There's so much meat in it. It's 5 meats. There's the andouille, the shrimp, the chicken, the pork. There's pork, and then there's beef. So, but we have received all those things, except for those 2 items from pantry runs. So for the most part, that's going to be to get. Now, we never get okra or things like that, which is traditionally in gumbo, so that's something else we're going to have to purchase, but still, it'll be very filling. And the batch we make a big batch of it so that we can have it for leftovers. And I'm toying with the idea of seeing about making bread bowls somehow to have it in at some point, or maybe the night we have leftovers to do that. Yeah, it was a really cool experience. Like we helped our parents start this business, and it was everything from getting a graphic artist to make the labels, and to do the printing of that, and going into the grocery stores, marketing, all those things. But they did it for several years, so, and it was successful, but I think they just kind of burned out of the process. They were in their life stage where that type of heavy lifting on top of their other jobs, which they had, was a little much for them. And of course, we were raising our family and, working and things like that too. So it's not like somebody had 100% time to devote to it. So it got to be a little bit of a stressor, I think, for them. So they kind of gave up on it. And actually the freezer, one of the freezers that we used to use for the festivals. So that baby is lasting a long time, because this was back in, I want to say 2005. So in those freezers we would take to the festivals to keep the product in. It's still running. It's amazing. And it's interesting because the other freezer that we have it uses propane. It's different. My husband was saying that it's somehow chemically different. So whatever, they work. I'm happy. Then we're going to have pasta one night. Depending on how much produce we get, I have 3 pantry runs I'm doing. I did one yesterday, I did one today, and I'm going again tomorrow morning to a different one. So depending on the produce we get, if we get peppers and things like that, I'm going to throw it right in the slow cooker with hamburger, and just let that cool down or cook down. If you do it low and slow, oh my gosh, it's really delicious. It's very, very good, very delicious. And then of course one night we will have leftovers. And then one night we're gonna have fish sticks and roasted potatoes. And another night we're gonna have breakfast for dinner, pancakes. We have some bacon in the freezer from the pantry, and any leftover potatoes we're going to use. So that'll be a good way to do it. As far as the weekend desserts, I already made them, which is the 3-ingredient peanut butter cookies. I'm still going to do that recipe, but I had the opportunity because my husband was sick and he was up at the time, so I didn't want to film that. So yeah, and then we also got avocados from one of the pantries, so we're gonna have guacamole for our meal, for our appetizer, probably for the Packers game. That's typically when I've been doing it now. Because it's going to be interesting. The Packers are going to be playing in London, and that game, I think it might be next weekend, and it starts at 8:30 in the morning, so that'll be a different thing to experience. So yeah, So that's it as far as the meal plan goes, and I will probably post tomorrow one of the pantries, just so I can get caught up and have them ready for you guys. So anyway, I hope you have a great weekend. The weather here in Wisconsin, our area, it's supposed to be mild, like 60s for highs, but sunny and dry, which is nice because it's been raining a lot on weekends and such, it seems, lately. So, but we're in that cycle. What can you do? Autumn comes. So yeah, and then I also posted yesterday a short where I went to a thrift store. Now this is my first time. I might get choked up here. Where I actually went into some place, because I have some stability issues. I get worried about falling and I can't get myself up. So, to go to the thrift store was an accomplishment yesterday. And it paid off by what we had. And the thrift store is a charity, and I have a feeling that they purchased some of their items for the food pantry, because they have the food pantry there too. That this is the quarterly one. I think they use those monies for that purpose, is to buy food for the pantries. So, I mean, it feels good to buy from there. So, but yeah, I needed some sweaters and things like that. So I went and got some of those, and I'm excited about that. That's the one cool thing about fall. I do like fall, but I like I like what they used to call Indian summer. I don't know if that's appropriate anymore, but it's just a time where the temperatures could get up to like 70, and at night it's like 50 degrees, you know. So really it's kind of like days like that. It's usually not weeks. So, but I look forward to that. I like being out in sweaters and doing all those things. So, yeah, that's it. So I hope you have a good weekend. And anybody who's a praying person, if you could just pray for my husband to feel better quickly. It's already a tremendous stress on him to even be doing on-call work, because it's 24 hours a day somebody could call. And so that makes it a little more stressful too when you don't feel well. So I'd appreciate the prayers. And yeah, so I wanted to mention again, if you like the channel and you like what I'm putting out, please like and subscribe to the channel. And I also have a Patreon page, which I have in the description. I don't have any patrons yet, but when I do, I can start doing the parts of that, filling it in, doing the coaching and things like that. So I'm excited about that. But God's in charge of timing. He makes everything happen when it's supposed to, for many reasons. And I can see, when you can see hope or a reason for struggling or suffering that you're going through, that's when you really have tremendous faith, because you can see that all things work together for the good of those who love him. And that's true. So be well, be blessed, and know you're taken care of. Bye now.